Hello everyone. We are going to see poem Evolution by Sherman Alexie. Here is the brief information about the Sherman Joseph Alexie. He was born on 7th October 1966. He is a prominent award-winning Native American poet, novelist, performer, and filmmaker. His writings draw on these experiences as an indigenous American with ancestry from several tribes. His books for poetry includes Face, published in 2009, One Stick Song, published in 2000, The Man Who Loves Solomon, published in 1998, The Summer of a Black Window, published in 1996, Water Flowing Home, published in 1995, Old Shirts and New Skins, published in 1993, First Indian on Moon, published in 1993, and The Business of Fancy Dancing, 1992, published. His novel, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, 2007, won National Book Award for Young People's Literature. Among his other honors and awards are Poetry Fellowship from the Washington State Art Commission, the National Endowment for the Arts. So, by this information, we came to know that Sherman Alexie is a Native American poet and one of the most famous for his writing. He write for Native Americans. He write about their life, their problems, and their emotions also. The present poem is a narrative poem. It describes the exploitation of Native Americans at the hands of Buffalo Bill through his pawn shop. Pawn shop means is a place where pawn means actually a mortgage or stooge deposit where we deposit something. So he introduced centuries ago by white settlers, alcohol made its damaging mark on the Native American culture. He illustrates the systematic degradation of the Native American people and their culture. So we have to know little background about the America before we start the poem. It is actually a well-known fact that Native American people had their land taken away from them by the European settlers. European settlers come in America in actually 17th century. It's a tale that many children hear in their history classes, but what many of them don't know and what American government is not teaching to all, that is the fact that the way in which their lands have been taken by Europeans. Means American lands, how, in what way taken by Europeans is not said in so many history records. There is no doubt actually some violent struggles for land between Native Americans and the European settlers, but it is shown in history very trickily, and the main trick was used to get Native Americans to sign up their lands to the Europeans was the act of the introducing alcohol. That is means before European settlers come to America, there was not kind of alcohol, and when alcohol was introduced in America, that time They addicted to it and onwards they loathe their lands. So they use alcohol as their tool to take away the valuable things that Native Americans owned. In this poem also they have shown, Sherman Alexie has shown how people has lost all their materials, wealth, whatever it may be. So for this, Alexie illustrates the story of how Buffalo Bills open up a pawn shop on the reservation of right across the border from the liquor store. So here onwards we will see the poem. I will read the poem first and then I will explain. Buffalo Bills opens a pawn shop on the reservation right across the border from the liquor store. And the stay is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the Indians come running in with jewelry, television sets, television sets, a VCR, a full-length bedded buckskin outfit. It took Anne's Mills 12 years to finish. Buffalo Bill takes everything the Indians have to offer, keeps it all catalogs and file in a storage room. The Indians pawn their hands, saving the thumbs for last. They pawn their skeletons, falling endlessly from the skin. And when the last Indian has pawned everything but his heart, Buffalo Bill takes that for 20 bucks. Close up the pawn shop, paints a new sign over the old, calls his venture the Museum of Native American Cultures, charges the Indians $5 a head to enter. So here we have seen how the Buffalo Bill captures all the wealth of Native Americans. So evolution is the poem about the relationship between the Native Americans that are mentioned as Indians here and the Americans who are the whites. The location of the shop is important symbol here because it's located right across the border from the liquor store and is open for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can understand here the any moment or any time the native can go and buy or pawn there's something at pawn shop and get money to drink alcohol. This symbolizes the drug abuse that the Indians have. So here in first line, what they have said, Sherman Alexie said, Buffalo Bills open a pawn shop on the reservation right across the border from the liquor store, and the stays open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the Indians come running in with the jewelry, television sets, VCR, full-length padded buckskin outfit. It took Ines Mills 12 years to finish. So Indians have come runningly to get money and they brought jewelry, television sets, a VCR. That means all wealth or all things what they own, they kept at the pawn shop and get money for it. Next, means Sherman says, Buffalo Bill takes everything that Indians have to offer, keeps it all catalogs filed in a storage room. Means he has taken everything and kept in the storage room. The Indians pawn their hands. This line is important. So by saying it, Sherman is mentioning that the Indians have pawned their hands, means they are now working for the Buffalo Bill, maybe because they have pawned their hands there. Saving the thumbs for the last, they pawn their skeletons, falling endlessly from the skin, and when the last Indian has pawned everything but his heart. That means they have pawned everything, everything, including their wealth and now their body also. Here, sarcastically or ironically, Sherman says they have pawned their heart also because they are not worried and they are addicted up to that level. They're not worried about their body also and they pawn their heart also. And the Buffalo Bill, as a owner of that pawn shop, as a true tradesman, he buy that heart also for 20 bucks. And after some time, natives or Indians lost their all wealth, and at that time, Buffalo Bill closes up the pawn shop and paints a new sign over the old, calls his venture the Museum of the Native American Cultures. So that means his pawn shop is converted into the now museum, and he charges 5 bucks a head to enter. Means who wants to see what is in that museum, he should pay 5 bucks. So by this poem, Sherman is trying to say the dispute or conflict between black and white. How white settlers, how white settlers settle in that in Native Americans' land by taking all Native Americans' wealth. So this poem symbolizes drugs abuse that Indians have. Another important symbol is the Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill means here Buffalo Bills is showing the tendency of the whites, means European settlers or colonizers. Buffalo Bill symbolizes the power that the whites against the Indians used by whites against Indians, means how they have grabbed the land of Indians. The conflict in the poems is that Buffalo Bill takes everything from the Indians and opens the Museum of the Native American cultures and still makes them pay to enter. Means all things are belong to the Indians, but to see all these things they have to pay. So by this we came to know two themes. One is the racism and second is the greediness. Racism is between white and Native Americans, and the greediness of the Buffalo Bill, that is the symbolically of the greediness of the European settlers in that century. So by this poem, Sherman illustrates the systematic degradation, means how European settlers systematically degraded the life and culture of the Native American people by introducing alcohol. So here we will stop. Thank you.